Hello world, I'm Blessing and welcome. In this video, I'm going to be giving you an overview of what the Messenger platform is and help you to implement your first Messenger chatbot if you haven't. But before we get started, there is something that you have to know. To be able to implement this, you need to have some knowledge in Node.js. But if you don't have, no worries. I actually have some videos coming out on Node.js, so all you'll have to do is to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so that when those videos come out, you won't miss them. Without further ado, let's get started. So first of all, what is the Messenger platform? The Messenger platform is a platform that Facebook has built that allows developers to plug their third-party applications into Facebook Messenger. With this, developers are able to build applications that their users can use right on Facebook without having to download a mobile app or log into a web app to use their application. But how does it work? The Facebook Messenger platform stands as the middleman between your users and your application. Your users are going to message a page on Messenger, and when they message that page, the messages are not going to reach you directly. Those messages are going to reach Facebook. And when they reach to Facebook, Facebook is going to send those messages to you through an API that you have already exposed to Facebook. And now when you want to respond to your users on Messenger, you are going to use the Facebook Graph API that Facebook has already exposed to the public. So basically, this is how it works. You cannot communicate with your users directly, and your users cannot communicate with you directly. So the two parties use the Facebook Messenger platform to communicate and make everything work. And yeah, so now that we know how it works, let's build our first chatbot. So first thing, head over to developers.facebook.com and log in. But if you don't see this, you're going to see the Get Started button instead. So click on Get Started and register as a developer here. So enter your email in the email field. I'm just entering my email here, but it won't be accepted because I've already used this email before. But just continue the registration process, and after registering as a developer, you're going to now see the login button. So just log in with your Facebook account. And yeah, click on my apps so that you can create your first Facebook app if you haven't created one before. To create the app, click on the green Create App button and select the type of app that you want. I'm just going to select business, and here you are going to enter the name of your app and the email, and then click on the button. You'll be prompted for your password. Enter your password, and with that, your app is already created. So these products, we don't need any of them except for the Messenger product. So I'm just going to head over to Messenger and click on Setup. And now we have the settings view where we can do all of the necessary settings that we need to do to get our app working. So first thing is, if you are good at reading documentations, don't hesitate to click on any of the links here. Now just click on add or remove pages to connect this app with a Facebook page. So I'm just going to continue as Blessing Postline. I'm going to see all of the pages that I have access to. Select one and click on done, but you can select two if you want to. And here we have the PHSS token, which is really important, but we'll get to it later. Next up is the webhook settings. So for now, we don't have our app URL, so we're just going to head over to Glitch to create our app and then pass the URL to that field. So the reason why we're using Glitch is because we need our application to be online so that Facebook can access it. So just create a Node app. give it a name. It could be anything, and then add a description for the app and all that, and then head over to the server.js file. We don't need any of the code that was there, so we're just going to delete it and start from scratch. So we are using Express to build our server. I'm just going to create a routers file. In this file is where we're going to have all of our routes. Basically 3 routes. One is the home route, and the other 2 routes are for Facebook. So the other two routes are going to be for Facebook to send requests to, and one is a get route, the other one is a post route. The get route is where Facebook is going to be sending a request to verify our application or webhook. The post route is where Facebook is going to be sending all of the requests that will be coming from Messenger. So when somebody messages the page and all that. So there's an error, and that is because to use Express you have to install it, and I didn't install it from the beginning. So I'll just head over to package.json and add it to the dependencies so that I can get installed. So basically we're just setting the port for our application, and with this there's still an error. That is because we didn't export the routers function. So to use another function, another file, you need to export that function when it's not in the file that you want to use it. And now we are free from errors and our server is up. Next up is this get route. There are a couple of things that we're going to be doing in this route, and the first one is to set our verify token. So this verify token is just a random string that we're going to pass to Facebook, and Facebook is going to echo that back to us when they are sending the request. And the second thing is to parse the query parameters that Facebook is going to be sending in the request to this route. And we want to check if the mode and token are in the query string. And if they are there, we want to also check if they are correct. If the mode and token are correct, we want to respond with the challenge that Facebook sent in the request to us. Respond with that to Facebook. And if the mode and token are not correct, we want to respond with 403 status quo forbidding. So we're just gonna set the verify token to an empty screen for now because my head is still empty. I don't know what to set this to. And here are all the query parameters. So I'm putting here SUBECRIBE so that you can see how it turns out if these things are not correct. So this is not subscribe, this is not how you spell subscribe, but let's see what happens. Okay, and if they are correct, we want to log into our console webhook verify. And if they are not correct, also want to log into our console that the webhook or our application was not verified. So basically, this is all that we need for this route. Okay, just checking a few things to make sure that everything is correct before we can move forward. And yeah, no errors. So I just want to log all of the code parameters. And I haven't set the verify token yet, remember, so I'm just gonna set it in the env file because it's kind of like a secret. You don't want it to be exposed like this. So let's get the URL for our application and pass it to the field that we should pass it in and try to verify our webhook. But our webhook wasn't verified, like I said, because I misspelled subscribe today, remember? So here is the challenge. And remember the token that we passed to Facebook sending the request also. So now our app is verified, no errors and nothing, webhook verified. So I'll just remove that part of the code because we don't need it now. And in the post route where Facebook is going to be seeing all of the requests that will come from Messenger when somebody messages the page, here are the things that we're going to be doing there. First of all, we want to get the request body, yes, and then check if the event that was sent is actually from a page subscription. Respond 200 status code if the request is from a page subscription. And I actually wrote 2 times, that was a mistake. And respond with 404 status code if the event is not from a page subscription. Iterate over each of the request body entry. Then we want to get an event body where we're going to find the user ID, or let's say the sender ID and the sender message. So with this, so let's get the request body, and we're going to do request the body to get the request body, and let's log it before moving forward to make sure that we're actually getting the request body the way we want it to be. And to get the request from Facebook, we actually have to subscribe to the messages field here and then click on save. And with that, you can get messages. So I'll just head over to Messenger to send this page a message. Now I sent hi, but it's undefined, and do you know why? So that is because we are not parsing the requests that are coming to our application. So we are going to use expert JSON to parse of the requests that are coming to our application.
now when I send hi, I actually get the request body. So now that we can get the request body, we don't need that code anymore. We're going to move forward with the next part of the code, which is to check if the request is actually from a page subscription. And if it is, we want to respond with 200 status code. Okay. Else, if it's not for a page subscription, we want to respond with 404. So I'm just making the corrections. That was a really big mistake. So 5, we're going to iterate over each of the request body entry and then try to log the entry and make sure that we're getting it before moving forward. And yes, we are getting it also. So when you write a code, make sure to test it. When you write a line of code, test it and make sure that it's working before going forward. Welcome to my convention of coding. Just kidding. Now that we're actually getting the entry, we want to get the event body. So that is like everything that we need. So the sender's ID and message. And yeah, I sent hi far and I got how far. Do you see that? Do you see that? We are moving forward. Okay, we are going somewhere. Now I want to get the ID and set it to a variable. So I'm going to call this variable sender PS ID. Yeah, because I love the sender PS ID and make sure that we're getting it before going to the next step. So to send a message again. And yeah, I got the sender PS ID. So this sender PS ID or ID is the unique ID for everyone who's going to message your page, and that is what you are going to use to identify all of the users who are going to be messaging your page. So it's very important, and you're going to need this to send messages also. So the last step is to get the message, the text that user send, actually assign it to a variable. So when I say maybe, oh no, there's an error. I didn't spell message well. That's why. And now, do we get? Yes, actually get the message. This is the last one. It's a message I'm sending. And yeah, I got it. So now the messages are coming and we are getting the messages. We are storing them in a variable. Next step is to actually send responses when messages come. And we're going to create a new file for that. I'm going to be using Access to send requests to Facebook. So I'm just going to make sure that it's installed before going forward. And yeah, it's installing. So we can require it in this file to be able to use it. This is just a simple function called send responses, and this function takes in two parameters: sender PS ID and the response that you want to send to your users. And so you need the sender PS ID to be able to send responses to your users. So without the sender PS ID, like Facebook can actually send messages to users. So you need it. It's really key. And you also need a response So just gonna set the Facebook Graph API that we're going to be calling to send messages to our users. And then remember, I talked about page access token today, and I said that it's very important. So page access token is actually the token for your page. So when you are sending a request to Facebook, you will need this so that Facebook can know the type of page, or let's say the page that is actually sending messages out. So now with the page access token, you are going to be able to send messages to your users as a page. You are also going to pass the query in. You are going to pass the page access token as a query screen in the request that you are sending to Facebook. And yeah, I think yes, we are set and ready to send our first message out, or let's say our first response as Postlaspot. Postlaspot is the Facebook page that our users are going to be using to access this application that we're building. So that is it. And then let's export this simple function. And let's require it in this file because we're going to be using it here. And if the message was actually sent, or if a message was actually sent, we're going to respond. We're going to respond with, "Hi, this is Postlaspot. It's just for fun." Just for fun, you know? Yeah, send responses. There's an error here. Yeah, it should be send responses. Send underscore responses. And yeah, we are ready to send our first response. So let's just make sure that this function is being reached by custom the request body that we are sending to Facebook. And yeah, so the function is actually being reached, and yeah, we sent our first response. Yeah, whoa, come now, let's celebrate. And now you have your first chatbot. You have your first chatbot. And yeah, this is all that we need. So thanks for if you actually made it this far, thanks for joining. So I just want to share with you this this video is about 30 minutes long. I tried my best to make it really short, so if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. Okay, I'm gonna leave my social media details in the description box, so just make sure to check there. But I'm available for whatever questions that you have, and hope that this video will be helpful to you if you've actually been doing something like this. And but there is now also for other features of the Messenger chatbot, I'm coming up with a video tools. So all you have to do is to just subscribe to this channel, please. If you haven't, subscribe. Just click that button, that red button, and peace out. See you in the next video.